Good for you. Good morning, everyone. We're back with Life on Purpose Live. We are so excited to be joining with you midweek. We have a tough topic today, but we have great news about great momentum that's being built across the nation. We have Kevin Sorbo with us with Sorbo Studios. You've seen him in many, many movies. We'll let him share a little bit more about that later. We have Laura Klassen coming from us from Canada. She is Choice for Two founder. She is anti-abortion. She is pro-life, as are we all. So we are here today to talk about the great momentum that is happening amongst this collaboration and what is being done creatively to come up against the pro-choice movement and the my body, my choice. So Laura, let's start with you. We just talked a little bit about that. Why is this issue so important to you?
I guess personally, like I told you, I saw a graphic image when I was little, and it's kind of just been a trajectory since there. But I think for any Christian, it should be important because it is modern child sacrifice. That's what it boils down to. And so, yeah, that's kind of it.
Well, and that is so it. And I think people don't believe in anti-abortion because they don't understand abortion, and we're going to explain that today because that's what we're here to do, is expose the truth. And Kevin, you've been anti-abortion for a long time. Why is this so important to you? I mean, obviously I know we're Christians, but a lot of Christians are pro-choice. So why are you so passionate about this in the midst of all the things you're doing?
You say a lot of Christians are pro-choice. I can't even begin to wrap my head around that. They say, my body, my choice. It's not your body. If it was your body, you'd be dead. It's as simple as that.
Exactly.
So I think people need to be a little better educated about the horrors of what an abortion truly is and what's really happening with it. And you see with Abby Johnson, how she's got a good voice in this as well.
Yeah.
And but she actually physically saw when she was in the abortion clinic with Planned Parenthood.
Yeah.
And I helped to raise a lot of money for the Gosnell movie. What that guy did was just horrific. I mean, it's just crazy. And this child sacrifice is just, it doesn't make any sense to me. We put more value on sea turtle eggs and the bald eagle here in America than we do on human life. We put more value on trees than we do on human life. Yeah. And I think the reality needs to sort of wake up. And I think there's been a lot of positive things going on with it right now because people are really starting to wake up to it. You see what's going on in Texas.
Yeah.
And you see, I just think more and more people are voicing their opinion on this and getting more education, more educational value out of what an abortion truly is. What Laura's doing with Exposed is awesome. I'm very honored to be narrating one of those animated. And if it wasn't animated, it's going to be graphic enough with animation. Could you imagine if we actually went inside and videoed what really goes on in an abortion like that? Then people would freak out. So we're here to do the good fight, and we got to band together and make it happen.
Well, you don't often hear in association with abortion the term child sacrifice. So explain that term and why that is such an important term, because it's easy to not think abortion is a big deal if you don't look at it in the graphic terms that it is. So Laura, what do you think about that term and why people need to hear it for what it really is?
Yeah, I realized that like a couple years ago, and that came out of starting Choice for Two and being pro-life. And a lot of people would tell me, like, this isn't a religious issue. Just leave religion out of it. It has nothing to do with it. And that's kind of how we were operating at first, until I realized, it's a blood sacrifice of an image bearer of God. So it's child sacrifice, and it's a very demonic, evil thing. And just so many things surrounding it, which people don't know, which I've come to figure out. And through the research for Exposed, even now I'm even farther along in that direction of this is absolutely crazy. People aren't even going to believe it. And it's the modern child sacrifice. That's exactly what it is.
That's so scary to listen to it in those terms, but it's so true. And when you see the world that we're in, we've got cancel culture, we've got everybody dumbing down everything so that nothing is a real issue, especially Christianity. So Kevin, when you hear things like that, and you've been involved in this for several years, the pro-life movement. Are you seeing people beginning to wake? I mean, we've got woke and we've got awake. And what we're doing is we're waking some people up at a time like this. So are people waking up?
Well, I think one of the godsends of what's going on within the science world is the sonogram that happens, because now a full 80% on average of women that were determined to get an abortion, when they actually see and hear a heartbeat, change their mind.
Yeah.
So that to me is amazing. And if that's 80% of more lives that are being saved, then that's incredible. So we're on the right path for that right now. And you just see it, but you see it every state. It's becoming a bigger and bigger issue out there. And people are slowly starting to realize the horrors of abortion. And that's what it is. I mean, Laura hit it right in the nail. It's child sacrifice. And it's strange to me. It's demonic, it's evil, it's satanic to think that people are using it as a birth control method. Well, then don't have sex or have sex with a condom. I don't know. But don't sit there and use it as a birth. There are so many people out there that can't have kids. So many people out there that would love to adopt. Yeah. So, go through the 9 months and just give the child up then, because there's so many Christian loving families out there that want children of their own that will take that baby. Trust me.
Exactly. And then, the regret of abortion, I shared, I'm post-abortion. I mean, you have, and Laura, what are the numbers? I've heard 1 in 3, I've heard 2 in 5. I don't know what the actual numbers are, but you have many millions of women walking around the globe with emotions. They don't understand where it came from, but that past abortion, that past, memory. I mean, I did it. I slammed the door on that for decades, never told a soul. And when I finally did, I mean, I completely broke, but it broke me into freedom. So what do you say to, I believe this is why a lot of people don't deal with it from a real perspective, because so many people don't know how to deal with it from a real perspective.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why even a lot of pastors won't talk about it in churches, because they don't want to offend the women who have done it. At the same time, then they're just keeping them in that prison of guilt, because the only answer to that type of regret is knowing that you essentially murdered your own child, and God can forgive you for that. And so by not talking about it, and it's super harsh, but God died for us to forgive us for everything, and that is something that is covered by Jesus Christ dying on the cross. So it's really tough, for sure, to talk about it, because it's so heavy, but we definitely need to be for the post-abortive women.
Yes. And being able to say, and which one of your episodes is going to be in that, the topic of, I put it in my book, and I've come clean about that and said it. And I can't tell you the people that have called me and said, I've never told anyone. I mean, that's how emotional we are. So we have Kevin, you see a lot of that out there. You're out there as a Christian, we've got to deal with things really so that we can truly walk in freedom. We can truly accept the blood sacrifice of Jesus, and we can truly use our stories for God's glory. And that's one of these that could help this issue, is if more women would speak up and say, I did this and it hurt me for so long, that it could be helpful. So what do you say to people about sharing their story and being able to walk in that freedom that you have movies about?
Well, I think it's therapeutic for them. I've been doing pro-life speaking for about 9 or 10 years now. Yeah. And the number of women that come up to me after I speak, I usually have a signing table, that come up and say, I've had to live with this every day of my life. And they'll sit there and go, my daughter would have been 14 years old today, because they know that roughly the date that baby would have been born. Yeah. Most of them that I would think most of them have regrets. There's others out there that we've seen on, some celebrities that come on and brag about their 7 abortions, which is just unbelievably sad to me. Yeah. But many of them sit there and regret the decision that they made. Yeah. And they made the decision out of, I think, we're trying to normalize things like that. We've been doing it since early 70s, and I think people have just gotten used to the idea of this is the way it is. I saw a video just the other day down in Buenos Aires. Now here's Argentina, which is basically 90% Catholic Christian, and they had thousands of women in this government plaza waiting for the announcement of we're going to legalize abortion or not, and they announced that they're going to legalize abortion, and these women started cheering and crying and clapping. They were happy that they were going to be able to murder their children. I looked at this and went, that's a country that says its vast majority people are people of faith. And I'm going, wow, look at where we are right now. Look at what's going on. I traveled to Europe with my family 2 years ago before everything got shut down with COVID. And I had three different cities I had to go to do speaking events at. And I said, let's make it a month trip with our kids. Well, all the churches over there are now either just museums or they're nightclubs. They've turned them into nightclubs. You got the stained glass windows and people in there picking up each other and drinking and getting crazy. I mean, it's turned into us. You know, we're probably only 15 to 20 years behind what Europe is right now, but we're definitely heading down that same road with what's going on here in America. And I see the same thing happening up in Canada. I mean, the last few months, all these churches, I see being burned in Canada. What the heck's going on?
Yeah.
I mean,
oh, you heard about that?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, and Laura, let's talk about that, because you have cancel culture. I mean, we know that's a thing, and you've come out very boldly, very creatively. I mean, you're taking a tough topic and you're giving it validity. We talked about this a little bit before. You've got the facts, you've also got the feelings, but you back it up with the facts. So what you've been able to do, or what you're getting ready to do and continue to do with the Exposed series, is so creative that I believe it's going to really have an impact on so many women, because you can't avoid the truth if it's in your face, and it's going to be available. So where does that creativity, and I mean, have you just been, I mean, you've gone viral on so many videos. So I think God has just given you a gift to be able to look at this from a different perspective.
Yeah, I guess so. I'm an artsy. Like, I worked in theater before, while I was doing this. So yeah, it's definitely something that can be used. And like, the media is so powerful, right? Like, just look back through history. This is what drives a lot of things. And so, yeah, our series is pretty crazy. And actually, Kevin he finished the voiceover for that first episode. And like, our team is so depressed right now because we're working on it and everyone's crying the whole time. Like, my animators are crying. Like, he did such an amazing job. But it's so awful. Like, it's unbelievable. So that's the first episode. And then we've got, 5 more. So they're going to be really, really well done in terms of like level of the professional level and everything, but they're just so awful.
So what is the topic of the first episode, Kevin, where you're the voiceover?
Well, I'm basically doing the voiceover of an anesthesiologist guy, a sonogram guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was just yanked into this situation in the hospital. He didn't know what he was being brought in for, and he got in there, and it ended up being an abortion. And I think, is it 5 months or 6 months at this point?
Yeah, I don't think we actually said in the video, but the doctor told me the baby was dated 24 to 25 weeks.
Okay. And he was sitting there in horror to watch what he physically watched as the doctor went in there with the sharp instruments to basically rip the legs apart and arms apart from the baby to kill it and crush the skull. The baby actually moved away when he first touched it. It tried to get away from the sharp instrument that was already hurting her inside the womb of the mother. And he sat there in horror and just watched this thing. And Lord just sent me the words of that guy, of that medical professional guy. And the first time I read it on my own, it made me cry. And it was like, this is just unbelievable. And we know this goes on, but I think people need to see it. Yeah. I mean, if you look at the movie Unplanned, it's from the same writers that I did my movies What If and God's Not Dead With, the same two writers. And initially, even Hollywood gave it an R rating because of the abortion. So even Hollywood, that is so pro-abortion, admits that abortions are pretty horrific because they gave it R ratings. They had to fight to get it down to a PG-13. So it's interesting, the hypocrisy that you see coming out of Hollywood. I mean, politics runs downstream from culture. Who runs the culture? Hollywood does, along with the mainstream media, because that's where the power is. And you see what's going on in there. And you see it in Canada as well. You see it with their elections, It's just as horrific as it is here in America. So you wonder if your vote even counts anymore, or how much corruption is out there. But
right.
It's evil, and we got a battle on our hands. And what's interesting is that Laura and I can't have a voice in this without getting attacked. I don't attack those people that are for abortion. I don't have the same anger and hatred that they have towards Laura and I for speaking our mind. That's the amazing thing. The party on that left, the party that are pro-murder, so to speak, these are the people that they claim to be the people of peace. They're not. They're the people of destruction and hate and divisiveness. They love the anger. They love the hate. And this is the battle we have, and we're going to keep fighting that battle. I find it amazing to me that these people have that level of hatred towards somebody that disagrees with them. I don't have that same level of hatred. I just said, let's have a discussion. But they want to take away freedom of speech. They wanted a one-way street for themselves.
Well, and let's talk about that, because, you know, I like to talk to people about living their life on purpose. And you guys are both examples of you're living your life on purpose. God has given you a mission in your life, and you're living it. And you have platforms on which to do that. But yet those that, I mean, obviously we know we have an enemy to our soul, and you have trolls, and Laura, I've seen quite a bit of those on your page, but they don't build their own platform. Why don't they just come up with their own facts? Okay, if they think what you're saying is incorrect, and that's not their agenda. They want to take you down. They want to take what you're saying down. So what do you say to people? I mean, our world, we have a lot of things going on that's a mess. Abortion is front and center. You have a ton of people that are anti-abortion, but people don't know what to do to get involved and become, a social activist. You're both activists, but everybody has to look at where we're at right now and what is God calling us to do and step into that next thing, even when it's hard. And so what do you say to someone who's afraid to do that? Laura, start with you. You jumped in there, you're taking on a tough issue. What do you say to someone who wants to take on something, but it's hard?
Yeah, I'm not even sure there are that many people that want to take it on. But for those that do, I mean, come on, you're going to stand before God one day and answer for what you did or didn't do. So if you keep that as like, if that's your perspective, you have no excuse. And it's really bad. I know obviously in America too, but like in Canada, it's so politically incorrect to be anti-abortion. We've got these hate speech laws, we've got all this craziness. So there is kind of like more a risk there to people. But at the same time, like babies are being slaughtered. Go and watch. You can watch our videos when they come out, but you can find abortion videos on YouTube. Go and watch that, and then consider the way that you're feeling, which is scared. Like it just doesn't add up because babies are being slaughtered. So to people, I just want to kind of like kick everyone in the butt. Honestly, here there's so few people who get it. And if they do get it, then they're just like, Laura, I really appreciate what you're doing. Like, go you. And I'm like, this is not a one person job. This is all the people's job. So I wish people would just get in on it.
Yeah. And Kevin, you in Hollywood, I mean, you're walking the walk, and, but see, here's the thing is you took a stand for what is right, and God provided for you other jobs, and now you've become like, the faith and family. I mean, we appreciate you so much because you're providing great media for people that want to watch great media. But God did provide for you when you took a stand for what is right. And will he provide for others if they do the same?
Well, Hollywood booted me out about 10 years ago. My agent, ICM, and my manager booted me out. They said, we can't work with you anymore because you're a Christian and a conservative, which is like being a double leper in Hollywood, apparently.
Right.
It's incredible to me. And they're the same people that scream for tolerance, right? Be tolerant of what we're saying in this movie or in that TV show. And then it's like, well, then can't you be tolerant of what I say? It's the hypocrisy just is so unbelievably blatant. Same thing coming out of Washington, D.C. as well. It's like, do as I say, but not as I do. The rules are only for these people, not for them. I mean, it's crazy what we're doing out there and allowing people to do it. People need to stand up and not be afraid. But the power of the media, the power of the movies, the power of music is just has brainwashed people over the last 40, 50 years. And it's just gotten worse and worse over the last 10, 15 years. Yeah. So people need to just not be afraid. They're going to try to cancel you anyway. So you might as well speak up because they're going to come after you. I get these trolls. I can post. Facebook took me down about 4 months ago for speaking the truth. Zuckerberg doesn't like the truth. He and his trolls don't like the truth. They hate the light. They love the evil. They love the darkness. And so I sit there and I post stuff on Twitter that's usually pretty much sarcastic, pointing out the hypocrisy of everything. And so they haven't taken me down yet, but about every third or fourth tweet, they'll come and say, oh, this is against our guidelines. They go, but this is what the CDC says about COVID. It's not me. I'm saying what the CDC says. But it's amazing to me that they can decide what truth is. And it doesn't have to be true anymore. And people need to just say, the heck with it. I'm just going to speak up and I don't care. I'll let the chips fall where they may. But this is like nuts right now that people are afraid to come forward. But we've been cowed by the media to shut up. And people need to start waking up, because otherwise, guys, I'm telling you, the freedoms are going really quick right now. Look at Australia. Look what's going on down there. I mean, it's just sad to me. And I love that country. I probably spent 3 years of my life there and 7 years in New Zealand. New Zealand, the same thing. Just totally shut the country down, like hiding from a virus, you know? So we live in crazy times, guys. And we gotta not be afraid to stand up and fight it.
And Laura, so people are waiting on when everything goes back to normal. So, you know, oh, I'm going to wait till it, you know, not going to be canceled, or I'm going to wait till the political system is less hostile. And you're in Canada where it's, you know, I mean, it's even worse there. There's no going back to normal. There's no time to wait. And with an issue like abortion, especially, every day babies are killed, murdered. So what do you say to the people that are waiting for the right time to come out and take a stand and get involved in this culture that we're in today? We've got to get people stepping up out of their shoes and doing something.
Well, they're cowards if they're not doing it now. That's what it comes down to, right? They're scared. They're cowards. And cowards are not spoken to kindly about in the Bible. So, I mean, even just looking at yourself and what you're going to deal with when you stand before God, like, come on, get in the game and join us now for sure. Because this isn't getting better. It's only going downhill.
Exactly.
Don't be a coward. Yeah.
And it's gone downhill quickly. So we can't sit around and wait on the next election. Kevin, agreed?
Oh, agreed. You know, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. Laura's going to keep doing what she does. I'm glad that we've teamed up here. I know they're going to work together more down the road. I can't wait to meet you in person, Laura. I'm actually I'm heading close to your way. I'm heading to Calgary in about 2 weeks. I'm directing the next Left Behind movie up there. And it feels like the rapture's right around the corner anyway.
It does.
But, I'll be up there from mid-October to first week in December. I'm directing and acting in it. It's a pretty intense, much better than the previous Left Behinds. And the company that does it is based in Toronto, called Cloud 10. And I'm really looking forward to getting up there and getting that movie going. So I'm going to keep fighting the good fight with movies that I do, to do movies that have a positive message instead of a negative one. The world is looking for faith. They're looking for hope, love, laughter, redemption. And these are the kind of movies I'm going to keep doing. And thank God that I'm still able to raise money for these independent movies that have a positive message, because I get stopped all the time through airports and hotel lobbies, and people say, we want more movies like God's Not Dead and Let There Be Light. And I go, well, I'm making it. And you guys out there, you got to support these movies. Otherwise, Hollywood will win this culture battle. Trust me.
Yeah. And you know, unfortunately, that's one easy way people can help without stepping up and doing too much, is giving money, which leads me to Laura. You're working on Exposed. You've been doing a fundraiser. You're working with Lore TV, and this is going to come out. You're doing 6 episodes. It's going to be, it's got some satirical animation, but it's 6 episodes. And what do you need people to do to come alongside you so that you get this very important message out soon?
Yeah, I mean, if people want to donate to it, that's cool. I mean, like, you know, like this level of animation is very pricey. So we have information about that on our website, but yeah, it's not though satirical at all. That's like a different series that we've done. This one is this one is very hard hitting. None of it is nice. Every single episode is extremely offensive, but needed.
Yeah.
Laura, what's the website again that they can go to?
They could go to donorbox.org/exposed, or they can just go to choicefor2.com, and we have information on our donor page there.
Beautiful.
So practical.
And one of the things that I love the most about this is, we talked about this in the beginning, is to see you working together. to see you coming across country lines, coming across all kinds of lines to collaborate and work together. So one of the things that I would love to see more of is Christians standing arm in arm with other Christians, living out their purpose and lending a voice and helping one another. But we see more isolation than other, and than anything else. And ministry is lonely, and ministry can be isolating. So how do you encourage people to collaborate and get together with other people, find like purposes and passions, and then stand with them so that we can all begin to work together instead of not together?
Well, I think we kind of mentioned that earlier. Laura and I both did. Just you got to get involved. I mean, go to sorbostudios.com as well. Sorbostudios.com, easy. A lot of information on there. My wife's both of our sites are in there together. She's she does a lot of homeschooling. She's a pro homeschooling advocate. She's got a book out there called Theyre, Your Kids, just so you know that. One of the blessings, I think, of COVID here in America, well over 1.5 million children have been pulled out of public schools to see how horrible they are now after COVID really exposed how ridiculous our public schools are. I've got a movie that we're trying to raise money for right now called Pearls for China. I don't know if I told Laura this or not, but it deals with the over 500 million forced abortions in China. These are forced abortions, guys. So if you think of that, that's that's more than 150 million more people live here in America alone. So it is it's diabolical, and it's a horrible disease of what we're doing to the world right now. And
it is.
I don't know. We got to just keep fighting, guys. We got to keep fighting the good fight, and people can't be afraid to step forward, like I said earlier.
And Laura, how important is it for you to have people come alongside you like Kevin to say, hey, what you're doing is a great work. Keep it up.
That was awesome. Like, honestly, because we put out the press release and I don't get this email from Kevin Sorbo. I'm like, what? Like Hercules, right? I love that show as a kid. So that was pretty cool. It was kind of mind blowing to know someone at that level would lend his talent to us, and just really humbled and grateful for what he's doing for us. So people should do that too.
Well, I love seeing what Laura's other videos were. She had there was a lot of satire in there, and there was and it was really sarcastic to just point out the ridiculousness of abortion. So the work that she's doing and putting out there, she's getting attacked just like I am. And it's, the level of anger and hate out there, to me, just shows you how many lost souls there are out there. Because I said, I don't feel that anger and hatred towards those people that are canceling me. I mean, I've already lost jobs, speaking events and appearances because of people sit there, oh, he better not show up or we're going to show up and riot or something. And people listen to these little trolls that are being probably paid by George Soros and living off my tax dollars. Exactly. But these are sad, angry people that do not like themselves. Trust me, these people are filled with so much hate and anger. They want, misery loves company, right? They want to drag me down that black hole that they live. All it does is empower me. They don't make me shy or move away from what I'm trying to do. It just actually empowers me because I know that I'm on the right track when I'm getting that kind of attack.
Yeah. So now is a great opportunity for believers, right? I mean, we see the world and we see the opportunity that's out there. And we'll close with this question because, we're getting to about our time. But when you look out in the landscape and you're both actively engaged in this issue and many more, what is your biggest encouragement for Christians to see something good? Because so many people are discouraged. So many people feel like we've lost the battle. I might as well just stay home. So many people feel defeated, but we are children of God. We have victory over our enemy, and we are called to live out our purpose. We're gifted to go out and, deal with what we're dealing with. So what do you say to Christians in general to encourage them, that this battle is not over? Laura, why don't you start with you?
Yeah, well, I mean, God wins. Jesus wins.
Amen.
In the end. So just that right there. And yeah, I'm not sure that it has to be all encouraging and all great all the time, because doing this is not fun and it's not easy. And and knowing how many babies are dying and knowing just everything, it's so awful. But then also it's been, for me, really cool because my relationship with God has just gotten so much stronger throughout all of this. And that is the blessing to me. So that's the good side of it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great side of it. And that's a great point, because sometimes purpose isn't the touchy feely, oh, rah, rah, God. It's what keeps you up at night.
Yeah.
And that can, what bothers you the most. And so, Kevin, what is your thoughts on that, to encourage people that we've got a battle and we're going to win?
Well, I think the biggest blessing I've been noticing is hope. There's hope out
Yeah.
there. You look what's
Yeah.
going on in Georgia. You look what's going on definitely in Texas.
Yeah.
There is movement. There's a positive movement, and it's growing by more and more people. And people are starting to realize it. And the Planned Parenthood people are really starting to fight back right now, because they're realizing that they're slowly losing this battle. And so it's a positive thing as far as I'm concerned. And hope is what people are looking for out there. And we need it now more than ever in the world. So this is a good thing. It's a good thing. And I think we're going on the right path.
Well, people are having to dig for truth, and because you can't trust the news. And so when you have choice for two, and you have, places where people can go get actual knowledge about what's real and then deal with what's real, then we begin to change the world one story at a time. So I appreciate both of you being here so much today. I appreciate what both of you are doing. I appreciate how you're doing it. And I'm so thankful to see the teamwork that's so needed in people that are in ministry and out there trying to fight that battle, which is sometimes feels upstream. So thank y'all so much for joining me today. And I am so glad to get to see you both and have you from across the world, but on one screen.
Thank you.
Thanks, Beth. Good to see you, Laura.
Yeah, you too.
All right.
Bye, y'all. Have a
Take
great
care.
day.
Bye-bye.